To this week's edition of Furman Football Weekly with head coach Clay Hendricks. The Paladins are coming off of a 17-16 road win at the Citadel in the 104th meeting between those teams, and we'll turn their attention now to Chattanooga on Saturday here at Paladin Stadium. Furman now 2-3 overall, 1-0 in the Southern Conference. Joining coach is Luke Clark and Eli Brasher. And as always, Coach, we'll let you make the opening statement, then I'm going to ask the first question this time.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dan. Again, appreciate you being here. Certainly thrilled to get a win in Charleston. Really tough, hard-fought game, and I just can't say enough just about our kids just hanging in there. Obviously, we didn't play like we'd like to play majority of the game, but we made enough plays down the stretch. I think the true character of our young men kind of came to the forefront and made some plays, and kind of played Furman football in the fourth quarter. We just got to be better at doing that sooner in games, and continue to be our own worst enemy sometimes. Not to take anything away from them, but you look even defensively. First half, I think we ran 17 plays on offense. A little bit of fault of the offense and the defense. Them being able to stay on the field on defense, but just 5 penalties. I think every one of them really hurt us. Extended drives. Obviously gave up, I think, one explosive play the whole day. It's just kind of a weird game the way it went. Which shouldn't happen. Had several of those times on third down. Should be able to get off the field. But penalties, extended drives, 2 fourth down penalties. Kept them going. And even offense, we had the 1 penalty, which on the video it's not a penalty, where we weren't covered up. We scored a touchdown, and fortunately were able to come back and overcome that. But it's you got to find a way to win games, and our guys should be credited with being able to do that. And certainly we're a work in progress. We'll have to continue to try to get better to clean up some things that we're just not doing very well. And that's probably a reflection on coaching as much as anything, which comes back to me. So we're going to work really hard, and I really just challenged our guys, yesterday to have our best week of practice this coming week. And got a really good Chattanooga team coming to town, and our game for them, we kind of all know what to expect. So this will be a huge challenge, but it's also a great opportunity for us. We're happy to be 1-0 in the Southern Conference, and with a chance to play at home. So with that, we'll take any questions you may have.
I want all 3 of you to address this. And Clay, obviously you've had quite a bit more experience of this as a player and a coach, but just the swing of emotions from 52 minutes of maybe the most frustrating football you've seen in a long time, and then the elation at the end. I mean, can you recall?
Yeah,
can you recall that happening very often?
I think Hunter asked me that. I've had some games where maybe he didn't play very well, and you found a way to get it done. Probably not one quite like that. So now it's a little bit of a relief. Relief is probably a good word to use there sometimes. But just proud of our kids and our coaches. Everybody hung in there, both sides of the ball. Because really at the end of the day, we got 5 straight 3 and outs in the game for defense, and we played pretty well offensively. We changed a few little things. We played a little more tempo. The running game, we could run the ball at some point because we're on no catch up. We kept doing that. We had some good run plays down the stretch that helped us. But no, probably can't quite remember one like that. I mean, I've had some games where you rallied and win, and maybe didn't play so poorly for the majority of the game before you did it. That's probably what's a little different.
Yeah, I'd probably say the only game that felt like that was the first game at Chattanooga last year. But even that was a little bit different because we weren't necessarily playing as bad as I felt like we were playing this week. And I think at least defensively, the thing that I think we're getting good at, and that reminded me of that game, was just kind of just keep playing, put your head down, because we can't make the offense score. All we can do is just go get 3 and outs. And I think once we settled in, really at the end of the game, that's when we were playing Furman football.
I can't really say I've ever been a part of a game where this will be for all three as well, but is it hard to keep an even keel during everything that went on, and what can this mean for you as you go forward in games you play?
Well, I told him after the game, hopefully this is, keep coming, taking steps, keep coming, baby stepping on here, and this is a good step, just back. I think it's another moment you gotta go back and watch the tape, realize, what are we not doing well, what we gotta continue to fix and get better at. Cause, we're doing a lot of good things, but just the frustrating part's just been the inconsistency. And, we carried 35 freshmen to that game Saturday. 35, I counted. Well, it's not all them, some are older guys, we're making some big mistakes, some are playing really good, but making big mistakes, and right now it just seems to be, when we make a mistake, it really costs us. And that's kind of been the goal for the year, and so, and again, there's only way to get better, go work, prepare, and try to be better, this week.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything easy in any aspect of football, especially winning is really hard. And going up there and getting the win is huge for us, and I just think, we're still kind of our own worst enemies in a lot of aspects. When we play good, we look really good. When we play bad, we look really, really bad. So we gotta, fix that for sure.
Yeah, and just going off what they said, it's really just gotta really focus in on the little details, because right now it's the little details that kill us, especially offensively.
Coach, on the game-winning touchdown, he lined up in 9 formation, so I knew it was gonna work, but, after 3 straight runs and you fake toss to the left, I think a lot of times in that play, especially like the other tight end, you expect maybe to get wide open. Jackson Pryor wasn't necessarily wide open, but can you speak to Trey had this confidence to still make that throw, make that play? And another throw earlier in the drive too, where he just had a laser in between 2 defenders to just have the confidence.
Trey played well. Trey makes, he makes some mistakes like every quarterback does. People see him when it happens. Man, he made some plays down the stretch. He's a talented guy. He's confident. Our guys have confidence in him. He's getting better and better. I tell you what happened. We had, we're having a little more success running it. When we did that, and we've actually been a little better in some just direct, even the, William Mary from there on down in there running the ball at people. And I think, probably us getting under center at that point in time, I think they probably thought we were going to probably try to cram it in on them. But, they played a lot more man coverage really all day than maybe we anticipated from them to begin with. And, Scott, to be honest with you, where I was standing, it was hard to see, and, I didn't really until I saw the tape, and I actually saw maybe a clip on the way home, that I didn't realize how good of a throw and even how good of a catch it was. And, I thought it was kind of funny, true freshman quarterback, that's Jackson's second game he's ever played in, and he continues to show up, and then freshman gets picked in the game, so, now I think really good call, but, calls there are lots of good calls, but what can you go execute? And, my biggest concern was just some kind of wide edge pressure, when you're under center like that, how's he gonna respond when he comes off that? But, again, good play call when you go execute well, but, really good all around.
Eli, it seemed like, as the game went on and you guys started doing more tempo, is it just me, or was I seeing the same thing you guys were seeing? It's like, it looked like they were getting pretty fatigued there.
They definitely were. I felt like, especially pass rush wise, as we kept on going more tempo and they weren't able to sub in and out, play more snaps, that they really wore down. Getting very tired out there, especially their D tackles. You just feel them breathing heavy.
I have a suspicion on my second press conference that I'm gonna ask something that's already been asked. But I'm sure there's a tangible and an intangible agreement, fatigue mentioned. But Furman went from having almost no offense to having a prolific offense in the 4th quarter. And I'm sure adjustments and all that, what all went into it? How did that happen?
Well, I think coverage-wise, they did some things. We adjusted drives me crazy too. But man, and what's a little, I told our team yesterday, what's a little different on offense? It only takes one screwing it up, to really screw it up. I tell you, defensive lineman can be out of a gap or a linebacker, somebody's covering for them. It doesn't do that offensively. And that's kind of been the story of our year on offense, we had two, simple gap scheme power plays called that both should have been great plays. We don't attack where we're supposed to attack. This may be simple, a guy might put his hat where he's supposed to be. Maybe a step, first step, second step, and sometimes you get away with that, but this just seems to be the year, man, where it catches up with you. We did go tempo, but still in tempo, you gotta be able to execute. Because if you don't, you're off the field that much quicker. If your tempo limits you a little bit in the run game, some things you can do. But, we're throwing and catching pretty well, we protect pretty well. We protect pretty well for most of the day when we went busting assignments. We busted 2 assignments, gave them 2 cheap ones, and, 1 or 2 of those were on Trey. Maybe one was on the back, so, it kind of takes everybody, but by and large, they gave them a chance to, go play, and we just execute better. And we got, we're getting those stops, you got a little confidence, a little more energy, which is, our games are a huge game of emotion, and you certainly can sense it, if you're watching that game, if you're down on the field, you certainly can sense that, even from the latter part of the third quarter on into the fourth quarter.
Luke and Elijah, what was being said on the sidelines as like when the defense is on the sideline and offense is going in? After you got that field goal, knowing, hey, we're back in this game, we're holding them. What was being said on the sideline between the guys from both standpoints?
Yeah, for defense, it's always kind of the same message. At least for me, is we got to go out there and do our job and get a stop. We didn't do our job in the first half, didn't get them the ball enough, and I think one of those 3 and outs doesn't happen. We might lose that game 100%. So I think the big thing that I was saying, what Coach Vaughn was saying, was just, hey, do our job, stay in tune, just make sure we get the ball back.
Yeah, and I say for us, the big thing for us was just keep playing and keep trying to do our best and go execute. Really, the biggest importance was on executing, and we finally started executing in that fourth quarter, which showed.
Also, something that I just kind of remember too is Coach Vaughn says this a lot, and I really like it. It's not getting too high and not getting too low, right? A lot of times in football games, the emotions are kind of up and down, especially in those critical moments. We want to do our best to stay kind of level-headed, keep high energy and stay high, but really don't get too out of control and feel like you have to do too much. And I think we did a good job at staying calm, collected, but still going out there with a lot of amazing effort.
You really just, I feel like a big, like what Luke's saying, like even kill almost. Like you have to stay mentally level-headed even when the emotions are high, and not playing emotional, making crucial mistakes. Like part of that.
Luke, when we talk about rhythm in football, it's usually associated with the offense, oftentimes associated with the quarterback getting into a rhythm. Do you get into a rhythm as a pass rusher? Because as that game went on, the sacks maybe didn't come, but the hits were definitely coming. You were getting to their quarterback almost every time he dropped back. Do you get into a quote-unquote rhythm as a pass rusher?
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes it takes me a little bit to settle in and feel out, how they sat and what they're doing. But later in the game, man, I just felt really good. Felt like I was just getting off the ball really well. And I probably hit them 6-7 times that game, but mostly almost all in the second half. But yeah, I think just like anything, when you start feeling good, you're playing well. And when you're playing fast, you certainly have success, especially as a pass rusher.
I think Luke, Luke Paladins, I think he had 7 quarterback hurries. Top of one sack.
Yeah.
He had said, the last play, just watching that guy trying to make that throw where it was, so that is a huge part of it.
It's for both players and maybe coach as well, but it's like to have a trip where you don't have to stop and get everybody on the same bus. And how did you guys fit on there?
I literally feel like we've been on the road every game. That's just how it's felt. It's craziest year. We had a little, we had a medical emergency so much now, we just kind of adjust it to move on. Our guys have handled it all pretty well.
Yeah, it was certainly good to play this week. I really, it's my last year, and not being able to play last week really made me realize, and probably gave me a little bit more extra energy to this game to realize, it's not guaranteed you get to play, and missing one really hurt. But it was awesome just to be able to go play, and like Coach said, it has felt like we've been on the road every game. It's been a really wild year, but it's one we'll probably never forget, especially if we do the right things.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one of the strangest starts of the year, especially with all the travel, but if anything, it's made us closer as a team, which in the long run will be good.
Yep.
Luke, a lot of times you'll see a game where a team kind of makes a miraculous comeback and the other team has one possession left and the defense that had played so well is so elated with it finally having playing with a lead, it's a little bit of a letdown or whatever. It seemed like you guys got more energized, man. Going back to watch that last drive, you pressured him on first down, forced a bad throw. Jeremiah Jackson got to him on second down, forced a throw that guy lost his balance and lost 3 yards, and then you got to him on that last play, forced the interception. Can you speak to the was it just kind of a mindset, hey, one more bell to answer and that's it?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing like we were down. Like I wanted to get the strip sack. I wanted to get the ball back myself, and I think all of our front four guys, our pass rushers felt the same way, and we just, I think it's easy to get super tentative in those situations and kind of come back on your heels when, the best thing you can do is go forward, continue pressuring the quarterback. I think I had 3 of the 7 in those last 4 plays, just, because they're finally dropping back because they had to, and, that's, when we get them in that game, I think I can win almost every time. I think it just speaks to the character of our team and what we can be, really proud of that last drive. I think those last 5 drives they had were all 3 and outs. Just really proud of the way they went out and finished the game. Obviously didn't handle our business in the first 3 quarters, but being able to go out there, crush the quarterback, come up with the ball, game over. It's one of the best feelings you can ever have.
Luke, right there, I guess early, or maybe midway through the fourth quarter where, there was a much punt, and then the defense, that's like an immediate challenge, because, in your mind, if you allow a touchdown there, it's gonna be pretty tough to do what you did. Do you like those kind of challenges? And as a defense collectively, can you kind of salute the guys, do you like that challenge to kind of go in there and redeem your teammate?
Yeah, certainly. It's obviously it's a great opportunity to display what you want to be and who you are as a team. Obviously I'd love not to be in the situation. If games could be as easy as they could, I'd take it. But I have a lot of trust in Colton. He's our guy. He muffed the punt. So what? Now what? Let's go get the ball back. They score there, completely different game. And I'm just, that's one of those moments too where I'm really proud of, guys just running like sudden change, put your helmet on and go. I think we just sat down too from the drive, running right back out there, go play, was it a field goal? Hold them to a field goal, win the game by 1 point. So they score there, we lose. So, just, great effort. And, it's so crazy watching film how much we could be better. And, I'm still just really proud of that. But, effort without execution doesn't really mean much.
Earlier, you're saying that part of the reason the offense, or Eli was, is that they were getting tired. If anybody in the world ought to be tired, it was the Furman defense, because Citadel had the ball for 37 minutes and something. And Luke, when you were ever out there, was that ever a factor? You didn't allow yourself to notice how much time you're on the field.
Yeah, certainly, played a lot of plays. It gets me individually. Like last year, I had Alex backing me up. We rotated pretty consistently, so pretty much playing half plays. And this year, I play a lot more plays. And I do get tired. I'm not inhuman, but I think the situation that calls for you to come up and just make the plays is so much more important, and you don't even notice it really until after the game.
Adrenaline makes a big difference.
Yeah, it really does, especially when you get a big sack or big play. It kind of removes all that tiredness. So, we certainly got to get the ball back to our offense. That's huge. We can't let the teams hold the ball like that on us. We got to get off the field. If we want to be successful, we need to dominate, all phases.
2 questions. First one for Coach. Go back to William and Mary, and Ian missed missed 2 field goals within, a 29-yarder, 26-yarder. So it would be easy just to kind of overlook the fact that he hit the 26-yarder, that ultimately played a role in the win. Just your experience in dealing with kickers and their mindset and the kind of work that he puts in.
Yeah, Ian's pretty level, even guy. I think Coach Spangler wouldn't give him his best team player of the week this week. If you had to give one, he might have gotten it. But I think that's his way of keeping him a little uncomfortable, and I think we all sometimes practice a little better, play a little better, and even as coaches, we're a little uncomfortable. So I think right now, I think that's a little bit for our team, just staying on edge a little bit. We're nowhere near where we want to be, but we can get there. But Ian works, Ian's focused, he didn't have a really solid day. We think he punted a little better, he punted it. But he's been solid, it's like Cole, yeah, it happens, you're a guy, go, you get the next opportunity, take advantage of it. Certainly everything he had, knocked the kid through, which for us at that time was just get a chance to get some points. At this point, we can get a touchdown, and certainly had to do, make those 2 kicks at the end. He punted pretty well, and that's most weeks. I don't think they had a return on kickoff, so all that helps.
And the other question, Hunter Reed's not with us physically today, but he has submitted a question for Luke. He wants to know if a sack where you drive the offensive lineman back into the quarterback, is that the ultimate for you?
Yeah, I've been pretty close a few times. Sometimes it's hard, because you want to make the sack so much, and based on certain calls, it kind of dictates how I rush. And sometimes when I'm bull rushing, I think there's a few where I just push the guy straight past him, and sometimes it's hard to come off. But yeah, that would be pretty cool to do. I've been pretty close.
Coach, you've been a part of a lot of games over your career where you've had to come back. Where does this past game rank as far as, being in that moment, not much time left, and able to come back and get the win? I know you've been a part of a lot of games like that, but where does this one rank?
Somebody else asked me something about that, I don't know. Obviously, it was great to go down there and get a win. 104th meeting, I knew we'd get their best shot, and I think probably I think again, it's one thing to rally at the end and win a game, but I think just the way how poorly we had played, for our kids just to continue to hang in there and find a way, and it really took all 3 phases, it was the stops, it was also doing things that do offensively, a lot of different guys did it, and they even had to be really good to kick the game to finish it, And you talk about the end of the game, so a few times we put them in a situation where we could pin our ears back and go after them. We let them kind of play ahead of the chains all day, and we've been hurt with some screens and some quarterback draws and stuff early in the game. And so, I think we're pretty good. Team gets after the pass, we're pretty good. Even when they know it's pass, we can do that. We just couldn't put them in those situations. That the other day we kept letting them move the chains, stay on the field. We made it a lot easier for them. And then certainly there at the end, they had to do something they weren't as comfortable with doing it. And again, I thought that was a strength for us.
Coach, a moment ago, Scott asked about Luke and Jeremiah Jackson there at the end and the pressure. I want to go back to a play. I think it was the first half toward your sideline. It was an option play, and Jeremiah Jackson made that play. And just from an effort standpoint, maybe what it meant to you and as players watching that as well.
I think that was the drive after is that the drive after the fumble punt? I think it was. I think that was the 3rd down call. If you remember, one of the few times we felt like we had them backed up and we were going to get field position, they run the same play, a little speed option, backed up, pitching, we gained about 15 yards. Dwayne, it's funny, Dwayne called out some guys on certain plays during the game that we didn't do what we're supposed to do. He owned that one. He just said, put us in a bad position to be able to defend that play, just a call he made. And then certainly JJ, great effort, by him. Again, this play that hurt us early in the game, they came back to it. That was huge. I mean, you could go watch the tape. I think Kevin there, was pretty excited with JJ, but, that was just another, that was a huge play for us, gave us a chance, really by getting that stop force kick, and then got it, even made a kick, so. Yeah, our game's that's such a big part of our game, and we gotta find more ways to create those kind of plays.
I know you're from Black Mountain, right, outside of Asheville, I just wonder what that, such an emotional win on an emotional week, I'm sure, was football, was it hard to concentrate on football, or was it kind of a welcome distraction from all the realities that, maybe you and your family were kind of dealing with?
Yes, it was definitely, it's honestly been a gift having football here, having it as a distraction of what's going on at home. So it's helped so much having being able to have my mind somewhere else and have a goal and focusing on that. It's helped a lot.
Coach, kind of switching gears to Chattanooga, I know there were a couple of guys that went down late, Xavier Stevens and Jalen Wilson. What's the update on those guys going?
Well, we're off today, so I usually, my attitude is usually we'll go out there Tuesday and see if we can practice. And, you get this time of year, you got some guys, some practices are limited, so we'll just kind of have to see. I think they're all getting a little better each day. Kind of dealt with that Ryan Lamb last week, he ended up playing most of the game Saturday, so we'll just kind of have to see how that goes. And certainly Chattanooga group, like I said, it's good next, let's talk about the next one, and, certainly the games we've had with them. It's funny, I think they're a lot like us the way their year started. I think the start of their year really affected them. I actually talked to Rusty, after the week one, they had Tennessee, we had Ole Miss, similar kind of the way it turned out. Then they turned around and played Georgia State. Guess what? Georgia State beat Vanderbilt, what Vanderbilt just did, so you get into this, people try to compare scores, then they played Mercer, it could easily won the game. It was a tough football game, low scoring, not many yards gained, so they were sitting there and all of a sudden they won 2 in a row with East Tennessee, so people try to compare scores, you can't compare scores, every game's a little different, matchups are always a little bit different. So they're saying people I thought they were before the season, and one of the few teams where they got a returning quarterback, he's healthy, he got hurt in our first game last year, didn't play in the playoff game. They've got talent, they got size and length, and they do a good job coaching them, they know who they are, and we'll have to absolutely have our best week. I think they probably the most complete game we played, certainly other than the opener we played, but we got our hands full this week.
One other question is, there are some similarities between like their numbers distribution on offense, and they struggle to run the ball a little bit. I think their guy had 103 yards last week, but by and large, that's been a struggle for them. What kind of challenges do they present? I know last year they threw it around a lot pretty quickly, right?
They were, and a little bit like us, you can't take the first game out. You take the first game out and add it up, and it makes things look a little different. So I think it skews it a little bit. They've probably been a heavy run first team historically. I think Artobi's changed that. When they were throwing it around, he's coming off on the shoulder and surgery, and he looks more comfortable every week doing it. Really good group of receivers. I think they got another good running back. And so again, you just watch them, they get a little better each week. I just think our games in our league are gonna be like that every week. I hadn't seen anybody that I think just, not a lot of people are scoring tons of points. I think there's a lot of good defensive teams. Quarterback play is gonna be huge. I think going forward, that's, really a place where Trey is the progression. If we can continue to improve and help him, and obviously some things he's gotta do better, but you just gotta find a way to get wins. Defenses getting stops and being really good in the kicking game. Again, they've changed defense coordinators, but they hadn't really changed what they're doing. They look real similar. They run to the ball. Offensively, it's the same group of guys.
that is it from the assembled media here. I'll give you a chance for a final thought, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, now we're just, happy to be 1-0 in the conference, and certainly got a huge game for us this week. I do know we have fall break coming up, which I'm really disappointed we set that on the week of the home game. But we'll be there ready to go. We need to have a great week of practice. You know, but again, just looking forward to be a huge challenge for us, but I think it's certainly one we're up forward to. Just know we gotta be better, and, you know, just excited to watch the season go forward. Continue to have some young guys step up, and, yeah, that's just gotta be our focus for the week, but I appreciate you being here.
Well, kickoff for Furman and Chattanooga here at Paladins Stadium on Saturday is 2 p.m. The game will be available via ESPN Plus, and our radio broadcast will begin with the Pepsi Countdown to kickoff at 12:30. We would love to have you in the stadium. As I try to remind you every week, Dwight Covington would love to sell you tickets. So go to FurmanPaladins.com and let's get a bunch of purple in the seats for a huge game coming up between Furman and Chattanooga. Thank you to Clay Hendricks, to Luke Clark, Eli Brasher, and for all of us here at Furman, I'm Dan Scott, saying God bless you. So long, everybody.